GMMTV has 29 mascots, and I thought today, heading into Pride Month, yes, I know it's a week away, that we would rank all of them. Now, a few disclaimers before we get into it. I am leaving out Rexa and the newest one just because they're so new, and I just feel like it's, not fair to rank them alongside some of these others that have been around for years. I also want to say that I am ranking these based on design, they're tied to their parents, whether it's their design, their name, what have you, and their recognition. How much can you recognize them? If you see them, you're like, oh yeah, I know that mascot and I know their name. Anyway, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know GMMTV and their mascots, so I'm not going to explain that. I'm going to explain all of TyBL in a different video later on, so let's just get right into the ranking. Now, just a disclaimer, this is a video, so of course I'm going to be dramatic. I don't hate any of these characters, I don't hate any of their designs, I just use strong language because it is a video and you know what, I can do whatever I want. Anyway, with that out of the way, I hate Smile. I don't know what this thing is, it's awful. I get the cloud as a tie-in to his parents' name, Sky, but other than that, like what the heck, his head is huge. Like, honestly, if you look at it like sideways, like he is so big. And I think that's part of the reason he doesn't have much character to him, because the person inside that can't do anything. It's all head. You just gotta keep this giant head floating. There's so much and so little going on at the same time, but honestly, the stupid shape of this thing is what holds it back the most. Right next to her brother is Neona. Now Neona she has potential. I love the black and the pink, I love the chains, it's giving very much Blackpink, the K-pop band, and I like that. What holds her back is this face. I don't know if they were trying to make it look like Nani, her parent, but it's just bad. She looks like she's like stoned out of her mind, these like deadpan eyes. It's kind of creepy and ugly at the same time, and honestly, other than the fact that she can be like a complete meme, I do not like Neona. Now this guy's name is Nilk Nahake. It is Nanan's child, so you get it, milkshake but with N's. Yeah, I don't know, I don't like that. Maybe it's easier to say in Thai, but when I try to pronounce it, it just sounds stupid. Anyway, this is just a little kid that's a milkshake because Nanan's favorite dessert is a milkshake. And I get that, you know what, that's nice. It ties into the parent. The design is very simple, it's just a boy that's a milkshake. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, I don't like the human-looking designs. I think when they look like humans, they're just a little bit off-putting and strange. Especially once they get voice boxes, I think it's a little weird, so that's why this one is down so far. Now, I'd say I'm pretty well versed in the GMMTV mascot area. I've watched hundreds and millions of hours of these stupid little guys run around. I have a gazillion pieces of their merch, but for the life of me, I cannot remember this guy's name. Like, I see him around and I'm like, oh yeah, that's, the strange snowman jester thing. But his name is Momo. Momo, like, where'd that come from, man? Anyway, he is part snowman, which is supposed to be Ohm, and he is a clown like Mark. I just think he's not that memorable. The design's not bad, it can be cute, but it's also just kind of strange, and yeah, I just don't have much to say about this strange little guy. Now, I know this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. I put Tomafox near the bottom. I am sorry, I love Mafox. I love his personality. I think it fits his design perfectly. But on that note, his design is so strange. I get it, it's a tomato and like a fox, but that face, man, that face is strange. And whenever people say, oh, he's so cute, or oh, he's just a baby, I'm like, are we looking at the same thing? Do you see this thing's face? Like, what is that? I don't really understand how a tomato ties into Force Book. Maybe there's some lore there I just haven't found or, don't know about. But really, he's just a strange little guy. I get why people like him, and I think his character is really well-rounded. That is a reason he's a bit up higher, is because Mafox has a lot of character, especially for someone that doesn't have a voice box yet. Here's another maybe unpopular opinion, and this is Babby. Now, I have said it before and I'll say it again, I don't love the human designs. I think they look a bit strange, especially when they stand next to the actual people in real life. They look a little weird, but I do like Babby. I think she is like the perfect counterpart to Gun, especially. They look almost identical, and I love her personality. She's very witty, especially now that she has a voice box. It's like perfect. This next one hurts a little bit because Boonprem are one of my favorite couples, but I just don't really understand Pouty. Like, I get the sort of bao bun, that makes sense, that really ties into both of them. But other than that, what's going on? Candy and then broccoli in his hand for some reason, and green hair and a red outfit. Like, there's just so much happening with this design that it's kind of all over the place and doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, how many of you remember that this thing holds a broccoli? Like, what is the point of the broccoli? Anyway, there's not many ties to the parents other than the bao bun. And I feel like he is really recognizable because of his personality. A lot of these more strange costumes are farther up just because they have such a good personality. Once again, I'm sorry, Bunprem, they are one of my favorite pairs. I just don't love Pouty. Muv is kind of perfect for the whole Sanrio Pop Mart craze going around right now. She's just so fluffy and sweet and adorable looking. I don't know a lot about GL and I don't know a lot about her parents, so it's a bit hard for me to rank her higher than this, but I do absolutely love this design, and I think it works really well for merchandise. It's just such a perfect, adorable, sweet design. Gunsley is just perfect in terms of tie-in to his parents. I mean, let's start off with the fact that he is a bear mixed with a penguin. The bear being Joss makes so much sense. You look at Joss and you think of a bear. I mean, Gowin being a penguin, that also makes sense. And the fact that Gunsley has a basketball on top of his head, that is also perfect. His little basketball jersey thing, I think it's just a perfect tie-in to his parents. Now, his shape does hold him back a little. I mean, he is much like Wesley. He is an egg, and so it is a bit hard for the character to move around. Domia is one of the human or more humanoid ones that I don't hate. I don't hate Domia, I just have a couple qualms with him. First of all, the mouth, I feel like it's kind of hard for him to portray any other emotion than just whatever the heck a pouty lip face is. Unlike, say, Polka-san or Permpoon, he can't really portray any other emotions. And I love the devil idea. I think that's perfect for Perth and even for Santa, but I wish we had a bit more Santa in there. Maybe like a Beagle mix-in would be interesting for their series Perfect 10-liners, or just something that gives us a bit more Santa, but that's just a nitpick. Overall, I do really like Domia. Yuzu Mumu, I feel like could have been so much better. Having a cat for first Kaotung is like a perfect idea. It's just, you know, what anyone would think of, but I don't love this. Now, my friend that I explained all of BL to, she really likes Yuzu Mumu. Of course, her favorite color is orange, so that helps. But of course, people do like Yuzu Mumu, and I get it. I just think it could have been better. The black and the orange is a bit hard on the eyes, and the cat, I feel like it could have been more cat, you know? Like, when you think of Yuzu Mumu, you think of orange and black, but if you ask someone to draw it, I think they would struggle a little bit, and I think that's where Yuzu Mumu could just be a bit better designed, and that's all I got to say about this thing. Now, we're at number 16, and I already am finding it hard to nitpick on things I don't like. Here is Jummo. Now, I love Jumak, and I love Jummo, but the thing holding him back once again is the fact that he is kind of strangely human. I'm not sure I really like that. His face is kind of strange to me, but other than that, I love Jummo. I love that he is the sun and moon, which is perfect for Jumak. They have so much sun and moon in all of their branding, and so I think they did a really good job at bringing that into Jummo and sort of bringing back his parents. Kingman is really interesting because I know almost nothing about his parents, and this is still another one of the costumes or mascots that I really like. I think it's really unique, and I absolutely love that his little turtle shell can come off at some points. I think that's really unique as well. This character overall is just unique and adorable, and I think it would make for really good merchandise. Like You is our only mascot for a band. Jasper, when are you getting your own? But anyway, I do really like You. I like the mismatched eyes, and I like that he is a wolf, which ties in perfectly to the band and of course to their logo and branding, which is all sort of wolf-centric. One nitpick I do have is I wish that there was a tie-in to each individual member. I don't know if it would be like a little patch or a little accessory, just something that would reference each individual member. Once again, that is just a nitpick though. I think this costume is almost perfect. Nong Nong has one of my favorite things, and that is when they play on names. Now, he is the child of Sea Keen, so him being a sort of sea-themed character is absolutely perfect. I don't know a lot about Sea Keen as a couple, but I do absolutely love this costume. I think it's super duper adorable, and the otter is a really unique thing that we don't really see in any other of the mascots. Seri constantly looks like a child in a candy shop. She has some of the most like piercing eyes I have ever seen, and I think that's super duper funny. I do absolutely love my favorite detail, which is her jelly sort of overalls. I think that's perfect because of course Oo always calls Boom jelly, and so I think that's a super cute detail. And she's also really unique. She's not a dog or a cat. She is like star, but also looks like an omelet. It is very cute. I love Seri. Lunar is just one that I don't really have a lot to say about. I love the blue because a lot of the GL or girl couples children is usually a pink or an orange, so I think the blue is a really nice contrast to all of those. But I do think that Lunar's egg holds her back a little. I think that's a little strange. But other than that, I don't really have any notes, and let's just move on to some of the top 10. In 10th is Meta, who is When Meta Wins Child, one of the most famous GMMTV actors. I absolutely love Meta. I love the mint details contrasting with her darker skin. I think she is just absolutely adorable, despite the fact that she is very simple. And I think her being so simple is what holds her down from being any higher. She is just a very simple little rabbit, but she is adorable and very perfect for Meta. Now, our poor Samarue, he is a child of divorce, and so that means that we really do not see much of him anymore, which is a shame because, well, first of all, the couple Winnie Satang is amazing, but this character is also perfect. I love the idea that he is a sloth, so they always put him on a skateboard or on like one of those little lift mover things because he's so slow. It's really fun to watch the other characters interact with Samarue and copy how slow he is. Although it's a very simple design, I think the character part of him really lifts it up, and I also think that Winnie is the most sort of sloth person I've ever met, so that is a really good idea to tie those two together. Now, this is probably no surprise, but the highest GL couple's child is Amy in number 8. I love Amy. I think it is such a super sweet design, and unlike Pouty, despite the fact that she has so much going on, I think it all kind of works together. First of all, can I just point out the fact that she has the lesbian flag colors? I think that's super cute. But I do also just love her whole sort of gimmick that she is a girl, but she's dressed up as a rabbit ghost thing. Like, what is that? She's super duper cute, and I love watching her interact with the other characters as everyone is just so sweet with her. I think that despite the fact that she is human, it actually works, and I wish some of the other more human mascots looked more like Amy because it's not as jarring and taken aback. Like, you can tell that she's a human, but it doesn't look strange when she stands next to actual humans, if that makes any sense. Lukkunu, if you don't know, kind of roughly translates to Little Master, which is kind of perfect because it seems like every series that Gem4 is in, Gemini is just so much more rich than Fort's character, and there's always some sort of play on that, and Fort calling him like Master or Your Highness, so I think that's super funny for their mascot to tie into that. I also love that it is a mouse wearing a lion. Those things just contradict each other so much. I think that's really funny. And if you look on Lukkunu's ear, it has the sort of Gemini symbol along with a 4 for fourth, if you pronounce it in the English way. Anyway, I think that's super duper cute, and I absolutely love this character and everything about it. And Lukkunu also recently started talking, and he has the most like mouse sounding voice. It's super adorable. Wesley should maybe be down a little further because the character has a couple flaws, but I just couldn't bring myself to do that because I love this little guy so much. First of all, the dog tying into William and the shark tying into Est is perfect. William is just very dog, very golden retriever, and Est, being a national swimmer, also ties into the shark. I think it's perfect. I love that he's an egg. I feel like he often gets bullied for that, and I understand that, but it's a super duper fun little detail to watch this egg walk around. The thing I don't like about Wesley is that he can't really move that much. This is a thing that a lot of like Disney mascot characters have problems with, and that is just that they don't have a lot of mobility. Like, Wesley can't really do anything. Both of his shark arms and his dog arms just aren't long enough to move around, and that does kind of hold him back, but I couldn't put him any lower. I love Wesley so much. We're at number 5 now, and this is where I could be persuaded to move any of these characters around because they are all just so perfect. Now let's start with Mr. Saturn World's design. First of all, him being the Earth because his parents' name is Earth is kind of perfect, and it is a mix of the Earth and Saturn because, you know, Mix is the other parent, and the little star because of Earth Mix's first series. I think that's a really cute tie-in to where this all began. I just absolutely love this design. His strange yellow Saturn ring arms are really kind of a strange detail, but it does give him a lot more mobility than some of the other more egg round characters, and so I think that that really helps him sort of move up the ladder. In number 4 is Permpoon. I love Permpoon. Now he has a very simple design, very similar to Meta, but I think his simple design actually really helps. It is very recognizable. I mean, there is a photo of Pond that I couldn't find of him wearing just blue and orange, and everyone was commenting, "Oh my god, Permpoon, Permpoon!" And I think that really helps, you know, sort of having your mascot or your character be really easy to tell even from just simple shapes and colors is just a really good thing to have, and so Permpoon is perfect in that way. He also has had a voice box for honestly some of the longest of any of the characters, and that really helps him sort of have more character to him. Also, him having headphones because his parents always use headphones and having his eyes be little half notes, I think that's super cute. JD is my favorite mascot of all time. I love this stupid sunflower. I have so much merch of this sunflower. I draw her on everything. I love JD. I love that she's grown arms over time and has also grown taller. Her legs have gotten longer, which is kind of strange, but that's really a cute detail, especially where she is a sunflower and sunflowers grow. And also on the note of sunflower, she is a sunflower based on their first series star in my mind, and it's just kind of continued on as like their sort of theme. Like there is always some hint to sunflowers in their series, in their shows, everything, and I think that's perfect. I absolutely adore JD and everything around this character. Number 2 is Avocyan. Now, Avocyan has so much character for someone that doesn't have a voice box. Like, this guy, he's all over the place. He's bouncing on his head. He's keeping care of the other mascots. I love Avocyan. I love that he has the sort of C tie-in because one of his parents is C. It's Jimmy C, if you didn't know. And I love the avocado theme. I think that's really unique. We haven't seen a lot of avocado-themed characters. I just love him, and I also love that he is like always carrying a first aid kit at any of the events and sort of following his father Jimmy in the steps of being a doctor. I think that is a really cute detail. And I want to know how he bounces on his head. How does the person in that costume bounce on the head? Like, what sort of gymnastics are they doing? And in number 1, to the surprise of no one, is Polka-san. Now, Polka-san is the child of Tae-nu, and Polka-san is not a whale, not an orca whale, he's not a bear, he's not a polar bear. He is just an abomination, and I absolutely love Polka-san, and so does everybody else. Polka-san is everywhere. He also has a voice box and is very, very chatty and has a lot of personality. Now, if you didn't know, Polka-san has a collaboration or a crossover with American Eagle. He was at the opening of a new Lego store. He, and along with some of the other mascots, also have a lot of Baby Mild products. Polka-san is just on everything, and he is everywhere in Thailand. He also has songs. He's the only mascot to have songs. He has a crossover song with his parents, and he also has his own original song called I Am Polka-san. If you have not heard this song, go listen to it. It is stupidly good. It is supposed to be like for toddlers, but I honestly adore it and show it to everyone that will absolutely listen to me. I love Polka-san, and I feel like if you know the mascots, then you know Polka-san, and you know just how iconic this little guy is. I love Polka-san so much. And we've reached the end of my strangely long rant about these little mascots. Now, I'm sorry if this was kind of all over the place. I took a couple notes, but I didn't write up a script for this. I just really wanted to rant about these little guys because I love them so much. But I'd love to know your opinions in the comments below. As always, who's your favorite? Who's your least favorite? What do you agree with me on? What do you disagree with me on? I didn't throw the DMD mascots in, Domandi. I didn't throw those mascots in because I just don't like them as much, and they're so much newer, it's kind of hard to compare them. But maybe I'll compare them or make another video like this in the future. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Bye!